I want to ask you about media for a minute. I vividly remember when you were on CNN during the first Trump term, as he
Mhm.
was running for office, I should say. And I remember how you were just such a voice, and it was so inspirational to see you on CNN and laying it down in a really powerful, clear way, and informing people. Most importantly, and I know for me, the past 10 years that I've been doing cable news, I'm not saying it was perfect during the Obama years, but I just feel like we are in a space right now where being sensible and talking about policy isn't really wanted from producers anymore. It isn't really valued. And it's been really frustrating for me. And folks say, and we were talking off mic a bit, but folks were saying, go on cable news more, go on cable news more. I'm like, I don't know if my spirit is in that right now, but I feel like we are repeating a bit of what I saw when Trump first came out, where it is just high octane lies. And you were out there before alternative facts became like a mainstream thing. And you're constantly in this war and this battle talking with flat earthers. How do you feel about the state of cable news at this point, Angela?
It's entertainment. I think, you nailed it. It is, you said flat earthers, and I chuckle because there are people who can come on to espouse theories and they get airtime, not because of their qualifications, not because of their experience on Capitol Hill in an administration, even in a mayoral office. And I'm not denigrating mayoral office. I'm just saying, even in that structure, there's something for people to learn at the local, state, and federal level. And so folks aren't being called upon because they have experience to pull from and to cite in terms of like, well, normally this is how we would handle a classified document. We probably would not conduct a military strike on signal. We normally would go in a skiff, or there's a situation room, which last night I said, okay, you used to know about the situation room. Now it's the lituation room, right? Like there are these things that are happening, and we laugh, but Clay, this is scary. Like, what are y'all doing? And I think the thing for me is we are held to such a high standard. And you mentioned like on CNN before Trump was elected in 2016. And I used to get really upset. And honestly, even this past week, I was upset because I'm like, why are they focusing on this thing that happened as a part of my commentary rather than what I'm saying? I'm talking about Elon Musk paying off elected officials to impeach judges who are siding against the Trump administration. But people don't hear that. They hear me telling the dude from Shark Tank not to touch me. I'm a germaphobe. I have high anxiety. Like, I don't even like to, when people standing too close to you in a Starbucks or wherever you get your coffee
I'm
or
the
your
same
tea,
way.
I turn sideways and I'm like 6 feet. And then like COVID's over. I'm like 6 feet. Like, I just don't even
Right.
like it. Right. And so people would say, you speak for me, even in the 2016 era, you speak for me. This is what I need to be saying at work. And what I started to realize, Clay, is that we're held to such a different standard than when somebody finally says the thing that we have to marinate on, how we send that email or how we say that thing at work or how we interact with our coworker. When somebody says it out loud, you're like, like you, and so you're
Right.
focusing more on being seen and understood in an environment where you're forced to shrink or contort or conform, that's the thing that ends up mattering to people. And so I get it. And also, I need us to figure out how to feel seen and still recognize facts and not provide an alternative pathway. I've been listening to this book. It's now, but I'm trying not to mess up the title. How to Fight a Dictator, by Maria Ressa, and I've been listening to it with my mom. My mom's chemo days are Mondays. Um, how to Stand Up to a Dictator. I just wanted to get it right. Her chemo days are on Mondays, and so we've been listening to this book. This little teeny Filipino woman, who took on dictatorship in the Philippines. Clay, this book is sounding just like where we are, you
Wow.
know? And so those are the things that we have to lean into now. It doesn't mean that the method doesn't resonate with our people, but I would challenge our people to stay just as focused on the method as the why, just as focused on the how as the what. Like, we don't have a choice to separate out those things and like make um the sentiment go viral. We have to make the substance go viral for our survival, you know? And I think those are the kinds of conversations and challenges we need to be having in community right now.
So let me ask you that I love to make the substance go viral. That's why I tell y'all when I post a video, when Reese and I post a video, when it has all those really good that really good information, please share it. Please like it. It's all about the algorithm, and we're in an algorithm war right now. Let me ask you
But
this.
we
So
losing because they own it.
we
Okay.
they own it. They own that. I see things in my algorithm. I'm like, I know I didn't click on anything like that.
Yes.
I'm like, what is
I
happening?
do like baby videos and funny. I'm not gonna lie to you. I will repost the stuff where somebody slide down some steps, Clay. That is my very guilty pleasure. I'm like, I will be cackling by myself.
Yo, I love mean cat videos, like cats just attacking people. I'll be up at 3 a.m. laughing. I follow mean cats on Instagram. I love
Uh-huh.
a mean, evil cat. I used to have cats when I was a kid. Now I'm allergic. Anyway,
Oh
uh,
no.
and I feel like when you get further to the left, sometimes it's harder to maintain that voter base because there's so many things you have to appeal to, and that's what hurt my heart. That's what's hurt my heart. I saw that a lot last year. Were you seeing that?
Yes, definitely. And I think that some of this has to do, so I'm going back to this now. I did not write this book, but it is changing my life. This how to then I'm gonna say it wrong again. How to stand up. I want to say fight. That's what mode I'm in right now, Clay. How to stand up to a dictator. Because what she says in this book is that social media is to blame for the deconstruction of democracies, and that they saw this happening in other countries around the world before they tried to implement it really here, right? So it's like if you can give people whatever they want in 30 seconds, in 45 seconds, in 90 seconds, short form clips. It is like this insatiable thing, this relationship that you have with something external to you, but now you believe that your world should operate that way. I'm not saying all Gen Zers, but there's a lot of them who are moving in that way. I'm watching the elders in my life who can be easily fooled by what is put on these platforms because when they were growing up, Clay, if it was in print, if it was
It
on
was real.
air,
Yeah,
you could take
it
that
was
thing to the
accurate.
bank. It's accurate. Now, what they're being fed is entertainment, and there's nothing to force them to distinguish fact from fiction. So I'm saying all that to say, to build a container around really what happened in this election cycle, a little bit in 2020 and a little bit in 2016, but for the most part in this election cycle, where people are told, if this doesn't represent your interest, you don't have to support this. It's an all or nothing mentality. It's hard, even again for me, because my norm on the Hill was you calling the yays and nays. You either vote yes or you vote no. There's no in between. Sure, you can vote present, but what does that really mean? It's saying that you abstained. It's saying that you didn't have the courage to take a position. Well, now people are calling the yays and nays, and all of your yays have to be in line for you to get somebody's support, or all of your nays. Well, that's not how policy works. For that bill to get to the floor that they called the yays and nays on, there was a lot of negotiation. There was a lot of contorting, some compromise that had to happen, but all you see are the yays and nays called. And I think when you live your life in that type of black and white dynamic and no gray areas, there's no room for nuance. Flat media, social media is a flat experience that doesn't allow for nuance. You can like something if you like it, and you can report something if you never want to see it again. That ain't how it works in government. So I think that we put people in these unhealthy tech boxes, social media boxes, where they feel like they can have it all, or they can just leave the thing away. You can't block your president from touching policy that impacts you. You might be able to block a follower, you can block a stalker, you can block someone who's harassing you, but your politics and your policy are going to harass you whether you voted yay or nay. And I think that is the part. Like, we have to help people to understand that a little bit more. That social media experience, that bubble, is a virtual reality that is very misaligned with what your actual reality is.